Hand saws, chisels, and planes are an essential part of any carpenter's toolbox. Among hand saws, the traditional 24-inch crosscut saw is best for general carpentry tasks. With 8 to 10 teeth per inch, the crosscut saw is designed to cut on the forward stroke and discharge waste on the back stroke. To make a cut, grasp the handle firmly while extending your index finger toward the end of the blade. This grip provides maximum control over the blade and also prevents the handle from twisting in your hand. Next, hold the saw at approximately 45 degrees and make some short backstrokes on the waist side of the cut line to establish a curve. Now, cut the piece by making long, smooth strokes while keeping the saw at 45 degrees. As you approach the end of the cut, lighten up on the saw while reducing the angle of the blade. Also, support the offcut with your free hand to prevent the workpiece from splintering.
Hold the saw at 45 degrees to the workpiece to produce relatively smooth cuts. Now, when finish isn't important, you can hold the saw at 90 degrees to cut faster. However, when finish is more important than time, keep the saw at approximately 20 degrees to the workpiece.
For quick rough cutting, many tool manufacturers offer short crosscut saws designed with a heavy blade and aggressive tooth pattern. Other saws regularly used by the professional carpenter include the coping saw, back saw, and drywall saw. A coping saw is fitted with a thin, flexible blade designed for cutting curves in solid wood, as well as making coped joints for inside corner joints on trim. The back saw is used primarily for cutting trim in a miter box. The reinforcing strip on top of the blade prevents the blade from flexing during the cut. The drywall saw is used to make cutouts in gypsum board. When it comes to chisels, carpenters rely primarily on the bevel edge type, which comes in sizes ranging from 1/4 inch to 1.5 inches. The most common use for the bevel edge chisel is cutting out hinge and lock mortises. To cut a mortise, begin by scoring the outline with a utility knife. Next, make a series of curves cut to the required depth within the mortise field. With the beveled side down, clean out the waste within the field, leaving the two end pieces in place for now. Next, cut the outside score lines with the chisel held straight up, and then remove the two end pieces. This technique maintains clean lines around the perimeter of the mortise. Finally, level out the mortise field, keeping the chisel at a low angle with the beveled side facing up. With the field leveled out, the hinge should fit snugly in the mortise. Hand planes come in a variety of sizes, with the jack plane and block plane being the most widely used among carpenters. The jack plane is the most versatile of the large planes or bench planes, since its 14-inch length and 2-inch wide blade make it useful for edge straightening as well as surface trimming. The smaller block plane is designed to be used with one hand and is ideal for smoothing end grain, shaving trim, or cutting bevels. A jack plane is composed of 7 basic parts, including the frame, knob handle, the frog, cutting iron, cap iron, and lever cap. The frame is a precision ground straight edge that rides on top of the work. The front end of the frame is called the toe, and the rear is known as the heel. The knob is mounted on the front of the frame, while the handle is attached to the rear. The frog is a subassembly that provides the mounting base for the cutting iron and contains a lateral adjustment lever and depth adjustment knob. The heart of the plane is the cutting iron, which on a jack plane is positioned at 45 degrees. The cap iron, also called a chip breaker, is attached to the top of the cutting iron with a screw. The front of the cap iron has a slight curve which curls the shavings and deflects them away from the blade. The blade and cap iron are kept under constant tension by the lever cap, which is secured to the frog with a large screw.
Before using the jack plane, there are several adjustments you'll need to make, beginning with the alignment of the cap iron and the cutting iron.
To make the adjustment, release the lever cap lock and remove the lever cap from the frog. With both irons free, loosen the adjustment screw below the cutting iron using the sharp edge of the cap iron. This allows the cap iron to slide back and forth. The cap iron is adjusted correctly when it sits back 1/16 of an inch from the edge of the blade. After replacing the irons and lever cap, flip the plane over and move the lateral adjustment lever to square the blade to the mouth of the frame. Finally, set the blade to the desired depth by turning the depth adjustment knob. To use the plane, apply downward pressure on the toe while pushing the heel forward. Once the heel is on the workpiece, apply downward pressure equally on both ends while moving the plane forward. A smooth stroke, along with a sharp blade adjusted to a shallow depth, produces thin, even shavings. As you near the opposite end of the workpiece, reduce the pressure on the toe while maintaining full pressure on the heel. This technique prevents the plane from tilting downward and gouging the edge of the wood as you complete the stroke. When edge planing, hold a block of wood underneath the frame for support. This will prevent the plane from tilting and beveling the edge. On a jack plane, the bevel of the cutting iron faces down. In contrast, the bevel of the cutting iron on a block plane faces up and is positioned no greater than 30 degrees. Block planes are ideal for planing against the grain, which is required when squaring the end of a board. To begin, scribe a line on each side of the board, and then score the lines with a utility knife. Now, place the workpiece in a vise along with the backer board positioned at the rear of the material. Next, bevel the edges of the workpiece down to the score lines. Finish the job by applying pressure on the toe with your index finger and planing the top using smooth, light strokes. Notice how the backer board prevents the workpiece from splitting.